While pandemic was an impulse for the faster development of the startup scene in Poland, the current crisis seems to have a negative impact on the mood of young technological companies. What does the future hold for the Polish startups? What can we do to keep them growing? Tomasz Snażyk, CEO of Startup Poland, is here with me today, and he will tell us more about the Polish startup ecosystem. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Sylwia, for having me.
Great. So today I would like to talk, of course, and focus on the future. But before that, let's take a deep dive into 2022. Mm-hmm. It's actually a good opportunity because you have also published a report, Polish Startups 2022. So you have some interesting insights that show the shape of the startup ecosystem in Poland. So tell us what are the key takeaways.
Well, the first takeaway is that the report is for free and you can download it on our website, but it was our 8th edition, so we can see, what is going on.
What are the dynamics
within the dynamics and the last few years, and the last 3 years it was always some kind of pandemic or crisis, and now we have the pandemic, or post-pandemic, we have the inflation, and also we have the war in Ukraine, and all of that, combines. And actually, we thought that people are going to be very, sad, or the results of the survey will actually show that they don't want to establish new businesses, or they don't want to invest, or they just want to, fly away from Poland, and that's not the case, and that's not very accurate. However, there are some symptoms that we can see and we can actually acknowledge, thanks to the survey, and then also thanks to the data that is collected by PFR and or other our partners. So, in order to summarize, I would like to say that an average Polish startup, if he's getting around, he's getting almost one round, and it's between 1 and 2 million zloty. So if you're going to divide it by euro or dollars, that will give you, let's say, 300 or 400 or 500 euro or thousand or dollars. That is one thing. The other thing, the other takeaway is the value of investments. I know it's only a number, but it's a very very big number, and the 2021 it was 792 million euros, and this year up to end of third quarter it was 550 million euro. That's the value of the investment. So I think that this year will be the same, or more or less the same. We will not be, it will not say, it's 2022 was the, was the worst, was the record breaking or not. But I think, we actually got to the peak. And now the 2023 will be some kind of downfall, and then we're gonna go up. Why? Because actually, a lot of Polish teams, Polish VC teams, they got a lot of funds, and they will invest in this part of Europe. So I know it's hard for me to give someone a helicopter view or a view from from a higher ground, but that's basically what I can say.
Sure. I mean, always I think to have a good helicopter view is also to compare ourselves to others. So that would be my second question. How do we look like compared to other countries? Yes, sometimes very much to be focused on ourselves. But then how do we look like on the EU map, let's say?
Yeah, so Startup Poland is combined with, actually, we have a lot of brother and sisters organizations in Europe and also outside Europe. And we have meetings in Brussels, and we had the last meeting, and I was talking about the international expansion, that this is some kind of a problem for some of our startups, and actually some of them pointed out that in our survey and someone from Netherlands, he told me we have the same problem. Someone from France, we have the same problem. So sometimes we think that we only have the soft skills issues, and we don't see that other countries or people from other countries have the same. So that's first. I think that definitely our strongest point, and everybody sees that, is the talent, is the young people with talent. Of course, with every year we're aging, getting older, wiser, and basically
more experienced,
and better as wine. But what we can see, and this is a no-brainer. How many people actually graduate from the universities, and if you compare even all the Eurostat, how many female software engineers we have in Poland. So that actually gives a lot of pool of people that can actually start working with startups or start working on startups. I think the weakness is we don't have so many private investors, and that's because of the not so, I would say the incentives, the tax incentives that we have are not so popular or maybe known to private investors. So that's one. And we don't have not so many exits or from startups, or not so many success stories from startups. And actually, we're building this market from like 2000, let's say 2000, and in Silicon Valley they're building that from from the 50s, right? Of the 20th century. In Israel, more or less the same. So I think we can give some space to ourselves, and we're on a good track, but still more private investors and more exit.
And when you talk about private investors,
individuals.
Okay.
Yeah, individuals investing into VCs, and the VCs investing into startups.
Because my question also would be about the capital, whether if you look at the market, whether it's mostly foreign capital or Polish capital, how does it look like?
Mostly it's actually Polish capital.
Okay.
But it does not mean that we don't have foreign capital. We have foreign capital. We had this question in the survey, and I have computer and I can actually read it. Are you experiencing a decline in interest from foreign investors? And actually 7% said yes.
Seven, only seven.
Yeah, only one digit. 55% said difficult to say, and the rest, so it's more or less 40% said no. So and the data, it also shows that yes, there is a decline in value of the invested by the foreign investors. However, the number of the investments is practically the same as it was last year. So I wouldn't say it's actually bad. I think there was a lot of hesitation from the investors because of the war on Ukraine and what is going to happen, if it's gonna
like in every sector.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning,
every
especially.
Yes. So I would say I think the foreign investors will keep investing in Polish startups, and plus it is nowadays it's sometimes very hard to say who is a foreign investor, because you have teams with Polish general partners, foreign limited partners, and vice versa. So sometimes it's very hard to say who's foreign or who's not.
Okay, so you mentioned weaknesses and strengths. Now I would like to ask you about things that can actually drive the sector forward, and those maybe issues that are making this difficult.
Yeah.
So when you take a look on the Polish scene, what would help the scene to grow?
So the main driver up till today, and actually that That's what it's the main driver. It's the public funding, and it has its pros and cons. I don't want to spend too much time or probably someone can actually write a doctoral thesis on
Okay.
on the pros and cons. But that was the main driver, and I think for a few years or even a decade, still the public funding will be the main driver. The second main driver are the second time or the second or third time teams, the general partner teams that actually got the money from the international investors and will be investing not only in Poland but also in the neighboring countries and also in US and wherever they can. So I think that would be the two main drivers, and the hurdles are the probably you can actually point it in everywhere. It's the non-predictable regulations, which rapidly change, and you have to change all the dynamic and the business model and everything. So in Poland we had the new Polish deal, so that is the tax regulations and the higher costs of people, of hiring them, basically. So I think these are the few things that I would mention.
Okay, and let's take a look on the sectors. Yes, where are the startups in Poland focus around which sectors, which areas?
That is a very hard question to say. Let me tell you that we can tell you that Polish startups or average Polish startup is a B2B or is focused on a business client. And comparing to other markets or comparing to other places in the world, we are very, very business driven. So it's more business to business rather than business to client or business customer or business to government. So that's the first thing. We also try not to put people in one shelf, but we say, okay, say three things, where you feel the most comfortable to say what do you actually or what your startup do. So actually the biggest number is in the AI and the machine learning, and and after that you have productivity and management, analytics, research tools, business intelligence, HR tools, medtech, financial services, fintech, and the AI and the machine learning is more than 20%. That people would say that they tend to do, or they tend to basically service to their customers. But it's very, very important to have in mind that Polish startups are very, very business driven or business or business or they tend to
provide their products and services for business clients.
To business clients, and that's because of basically the payment, the people coming from business starting a startup, and they know how is the business running, while it's harder to do something which is business to customer, which actually also Polish startups are pretty awesome. We have great Booksy, great startups as Booksy, as other startups that are actually doing very well, but
it might be not anymore called as startups.
they are of course scale-ups right now. But anyway, it's one
success story.
It's a success story, and it's one in a thousand, right?
Well, definitely the areas you mentioned are very in line with the general business transformation, like AI or the digitalization and everything. But that also leads to another question, whether we are ambitious enough to do the internationalization, because the fact is that most of probably the areas you mentioned can answer some problems that not only the clients and business clients in Poland have, but elsewhere. So Are Polish startups ready for the internationalization and exploration of other markets, Europe, wider?
This year we didn't ask this question, but last year we asked, do you have plans to enter, new foreign markets within the next 12 months? And more than 70% said yes. And there was a follow-up question. If you actually marked yes, so there was a follow-up question. So where do you want to go?
Okay.
And the first answer was EU and Europe. I think excluding maybe some countries. Then it was US and Canada, and then other countries. Like on the third place, Africa, Russia, or Brazil or whatever. So there is a lot of potential, and actually people know, and they're getting the knowledge from everywhere, that if they want to actually grow, and they need to scale outside of borders of Poland. However, still you need to remember that Polish internal market is very big, and some people tend to have this practice that they want to learn how to walk before they learn how to run, before they know how to learn how to fly, right? So
yeah, it's general approach of the entrepreneurs, Polish entrepreneurs.
However,
if you take a look at the figures, it's the same with every single business that they first.
Yeah.
do
However,
the steps in Poland.
we need to remember that other countries or people from other countries are more aggressive. And if you're for example, from
in sales, aggressive in sales, you mean?
In sales or
in marketing,
in scaling, expansion, international expansion. So, for example, Estonia, Israel. If you're from a smaller country, you just need to go international. The other, and plus a lot of people in Poland actually saw how people from Ukraine are doing business, all around the world. They actually from scratch, they had to sometimes, or even from the trenches, they have to conduct normal business sometimes. And they do it in US or even in Europe. So that is very, very something which is very crucial, that people start listening, start learning, start reading books, start not only go to Egypt for a 5-star hotel 1 week, which is great, nice, but don't give you any give you any network, rather than network of people that are in the hotel, and maybe you should go to some place where where your industry is, and start meeting new people, or people that can give you network, that can
leave your own bubble.
Give you that is very, very very important. We also this year we actually ask, do you want to change the seed of your company, or to start basically a new company, or move the headquarters to another company? And the vast majority of people said yes. So it's not. And you need to remember, people don't want to move there because they actually know that it's not going to be so fine. Living in the Silicon Valley is very expensive, while they want to live here and have a headquarter in US. So,
to get better visibility and better contacts.
Yeah, and and financing and everything would be easier and bigger.
But do you think that it's a matter of more like cultural approach, maybe a lack of skills and networking skill? Definitely, I would say, from the observation in every sector, that's maybe something that Poles should learn a little bit and practice more, or it's more a question of financial background.
No, I think the first. I think the financial background, it's
it's not that problem. It's more about our approach.
It's not the problem.
Okay, so you mentioned also Ukraine, and I remember once, I think even when Google Campus was actually created in Warsaw I don't know, many years ago now, but time goes quickly. And that was the time where actually there was an ambitious, that we will tackle, and Poland, Warsaw will become kind of a hub for this Central and Eastern Europe. So is it still this a case? Is this still a project going on, or it's actually like, I know that the Baltics have a very good, dynamics in terms of attracting and, producing unicorns, probably something that we could also take a look at them. So where we are with this project, or maybe it's not anymore the case.
I have a dichotomy in answering this question. So first of all, I think we're going to have more than one hub in Poland that will be known outside of our borders, and sometimes it would be even cross-border hubs. So what do I have in mind is Lower Silesia, so Wrocław, which is one of the best cities to start up in, and great ecosystem. We had the premiere of our report in Wrocław, and actually Deal Room pointed Wrocław as the second European city to as to be the most startup friendly and with the best startup ecosystem. So I think there will be more more hubs rather than like a big hub in Warsaw that is connecting everything in this part of Europe. So I think also there is a push from the European Commission to establish like valleys, and it would be more towards the cities or other towns to get together, and the universities to put together some kind of a valley. So there could be a better ecosystem. So I think there is the ambition. We are not there yet, but for sure there's going to be more than one hub. And I think, in my opinion, and I was born and raised in Warsaw. Warsaw is going to be in the third or even fourth place.
And what about our ambitions in terms of being recognized international? Do you think that we have a brand as a startup, maybe not nation, but at least like Silesian Valley or something, or it's more like that we are aiming for that?
No, it depends where. If it's a country where the investors actually invested in our country, they're all in, and we don't need to be recognized, anymore. So the other thing is what the embassy or the investment or the foreign investment office is doing. So sometimes it's a matter of that person, and I personally know, and big kudos to, for example, the office in Singapore. They're doing amazing job, and I called actually one person in Singapore. He knew everything about Poland. He had the best knowledge what is going on. I was very impressed in that. So, and the third thing is that a lot of people are working with Polish companies. So they actually know how Polish companies are working. The thing is that maybe it's because we got too comfortable, or it's just so much time from the Iron Curtain collapsed. Comparing us to guys from Ukraine, we don't hustle as much. And sometimes just basically by hustling, you can actually achieve more. So definitely I would work on that, and I think and we're talking about the social skills and networking and selling stuff. That's something that we need to actually work on, because people recognize us by we need to work on the social skills and also the selling pitch and everything. So guys, we need to keep up running, and you guys need to improve. For sure, we have great ambassadors. The sportsmen and sportswomen. So for sure, there's a lot of people that know that are Robert Lewandowski is an investor, is a tech investor also. So I think he's keeping it quiet, but probably some people know that he also invests. So I think we are pretty recognizable, and I think that what actually Polish nation did, in February and March and after that also for the Ukrainian nation, that's known everywhere. I mean, from everywhere. So that is something that we can actually build on. That the solidarity, the thing that we want to help our neighbor. That is something that we can.
Well, it
actually,
was highly recognized and appreciated. That's for sure.
Yes. But internationally, like in the US or in UK or wherever in Europe, you can basically have your head straight and know that your people actually did a good thing and try to leverage on that. Don't feel the Polish person in the back of the room. Just
of course, the image of the country and the nation has
true.
a very big impact on the way we do the business. Well, thank you very much. So at the end, I may just add maybe on top of what you said in the last moment is that I remember once, I think Michał Sadowski from Brand 24 said that you can have the best product or the best services, but if you don't market it well, it does not exist. So let's take it as a one-liner, and well, I keep finger crossed for the development of the sector. Thank you.
Thank you.